Hey, Shadowrek here. Today's video is just a very short and brief one, going over a limited time buff that we have for the current holiday. So I'll get into it right away. So it is Midsummer, and that means we have a current event going in game. It started as of Saturday, June 21st, and it ends on July 5th, which is also going to be a Saturday, a little bit under 2 weeks from when this video is going live. Now, during this buff, just as we had previously at Christmas, where we had a mistletoe buff, there is a buff for Midsummer. And the way that it works is you go to a bonfire. These are in basically every single zone, and pretty much always has one of these guys beside them. They will give you 15 of these burning blossoms for just right-clicking the buff. And what you do with these blossoms is, if you are at a bonfire with it and you right-click it, you get a buff. The Fire Festival Fury. That is 3% critical strike chance, and a very tiny amount of fire damage dealt back to attackers. Now, it does say it's a battle elixir on it, but interestingly, you can see that I can drink a flask and I still have the buff. But if I click off this buff and I use a Burning Blossom again, I don't get the buff. If I click off the flask, you get the buff. So, every time you want to go back to get the buff, you do need to take your flask off, throw another Burning Blossom in, and then you'll get your 3% crit chance buff. This also does not persist through death, so I'm going to fall out of the sky and lose my buff. I'm going to fall out of the sky and lose my buff. And you can see the buff disappeared. So basically, you can bring this into keys, and I believe it works in raid as well. But every time you die, you do lose your 3% crit chance buff. So you definitely want to avoid dying, even more so than normal, although you always want to avoid dying from keys. 15 seconds is a massive penalty. And then every key, you can just kind of go refresh your buff. And as I mentioned, almost every zone has it, so for example, if you're doing Priory, where the dungeon entrance is right here, there's one of the Midsummer things is right beside it, right there. And same with for Dark Flame Cleft, you can get it in the town. The only one where I didn't see one was at Workshop, and I don't think there's a bonfire on the island there. And that's just about everything. Again, I don't believe this is an exploit or anything of that sort. It's just one of their seasonal buffs, which they have said as of recently are supposed to be allowed and usable in keys. It doesn't get taken off, and it's just 3% crit until you die for 2 hours. So it's nothing incredibly major, but it's a nice little bump if you're trying to push that extra mile and, you know, get some keys timed or try to get certain parses in raid. Very good for that. So I just want to make this video briefly to spread awareness on exactly how this works, especially because there's the thing where if you have a flask on, it doesn't give it to you. So that's everything. If you like this video or my content in general, I appreciate any likes on the video, or if you would subscribe to my channel. That's been everything today. Thank you. Have a good one.